Hey everyone, Ashley here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today is going to be my March favorites video where I'm going to be sharing with you guys my decks that I used during the month. And that's going to be Tarot and Oracle. And I thought I would add in a little bit of journaling as well, and what journals I used, and why I've used them. I know I've talked a little bit about journaling here, but I recently just got back into doing morning pages, thanks to the inspiration from my friend Heather, which I will be talking about her journals here in a minute as well. But she does these pages called mindset pages, morning mindset pages, which are a take or her version of The Artist's Way morning pages. So The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, she talks to you about writing 3 pages of journaling 3 pages every morning. And I'm not necessarily keeping track of how many pages I'm journaling each morning, but it just feels really good just to get back into the habit of journaling every morning. I hadn't done it in quite a while because I was more focused on just doing my tarot journaling practice, but it really does feel good to just first thing in the morning, sit down, get thoughts out, get to-do lists down, and get all the gunk that's just in the mind out and onto a piece of paper, and then I can move on and get started with my day. So I'm going to talk a little bit about journaling as well, because that's been a big thing for me this month. So let's see, where do I want to begin? I think that's where I'm going to begin, you guys. I think since I started talking all about the journaling, I'm just going to begin sharing the journals that I'm using. I have some coffee here because I need a little afternoon pick me up. So grab your favorite beverage and let's begin. Okay, so I think I'm going to share first off my planner, because it's not just a planner for me. This is my Hobonichi, and it's in a documented journey cover. Bree is the creator of this cover, and her website and her YouTube channel as well is Documented Journey. I absolutely love her covers. I have quite a few of them. I have like, let's see, a B5 or something. I don't know all the sizes, you guys, but like I love my A5 sizes, and I have like 3 of these now. And I love this all black one. And oops, my charms jingling. Here's the inside of it here. I do like to collage my covers. So I have that all collaged. I think I've shared a little bit of this on here before, but I have my spirit animals in here. I have my cards for the year as well. And then this is like my Gamify life theme, which I am going to go ahead and share my decks here. I know I've mentioned in a previous video that I am planning on doing a Gamify life video talking about all of that. And if you aren't aware, like Gamify life, it's a thing that's going around, or has been around quite a while. But I first heard about it from Dawn Michelle Creates here on YouTube. And of course, I'll leave a link to her video down below if you want to check it out. She gives you all the information and how, you know, like on her take on it and what she is doing this year. And I love it. It's so fun because you also get to see like what your habits are and like where you're spending the majority of your time. So it's interesting, because then if there's like a certain area where you don't like putting so much energy or time into, you can tweak it and change it. And, you know, it just gives you a way to see where your energy is going and what your focuses are. So I've been really enjoying that. But this is like, you know, my whole theme. It's like this shadow work year for me. And it's like, you know, walking into this spooky mansion and meeting my monsters, you know, the inner demons, and like confronting them, but like giving them also love and support and being like, hey, you know, I don't have to be afraid of you. Let's just work together. So it's cool. So yeah. Oh, I've got my book tracker in here, all sorts of cool things. But I use the weekly section, of course, as my planner. And then back here is all sorts of studies. This is a journal for me, because I do keep track of my planning and stuff up here, work stuff, planning stuff, all that. and I do kind of keep ideas back here as well, but like this is all my studies. Like if I come across YouTube videos I want to take notes on, I do. There's some deck interviews in here that I've done, studies on the Morrigan, who is the goddess that I am studying and working with currently. And so yeah, so there's my Hobonichi, my planner, my journal, kind of my brain. And then well, here, I'll go ahead and go to this one next. This is a composition book. It is a Stranger Things composition notebook. And I decided to use this since this is like based off of like a D&D game. I decided to use this as my Gamify life journal. So I do have it set up in here. I have did another collage, and I have my quest log. And I like love this imagery. So these images here are of course from the horror tarot that it's going to be mentioned in a bit, but the artwork is by Abigail Larson, and I love her artwork. And I'm so excited because her and Sasha Graham are working on another deck that is coming out next year, and it's a vampire one, and yeah, I'm super excited about that. But here's like the whole vibes. So I've got this haunted mansion with all these ghosts and monsters and things going on in there, and I have to walk through here and navigate and confront them or just get over things or work with them, and like that's just the whole vibe. And this is like how Dawn Michelle has her set up, which I just really liked, so I just kept it simple and just stuck with it. So like she has her, so these are like they're the quests, they're the areas that you want to focus on. So I've got my vitality, my insight, charisma, wisdom, and dexterity. Vitality is health and wellness, insight's personal growth, charisma, relationships, wisdom is my spirituality, and dexterity is work. So yeah, and then I went through and did like this little tracker thing, and I keep track of my points. You get points for the things that you were able to accomplish. Again, I'll go into more depth with this at some point, but there's points and all sorts of stuff in here. And then she also does give you get to use dice, which is so much fun. The dice casting system that Dawn and Lisa created is amazing. But you get to use your dice and roll, and again, make the game more fun. You can do more tarot pulls, you can do activities, for like whatever you rolled, whatever number you land on, you go with, and so that's super fun. So that's my Gamify life journal. Next up, I have a journal that was created by Heather. And again, anything I share here, I will leave a link down below if you want to check them out. And I just want to say here as well that I am not an affiliate, so I don't make any money off of any links I share with you guys. But this is her Tarot for Today journal. It's a little bit smaller than an A5 size, but pretty close. And it's very simple and straightforward. You've got your today's date, you've got your cards, and then you have your thoughts. And it's simple, and I love it. You do get a lot of pages. Let's see. Yeah, 365. I forgot how many pages in here, but it's 365. So it's to last you like a whole year. But I mean, it doesn't have to last you a whole year, but you could if you wanted to. You can still use it however you prefer, but I do love having this many pages in here. I still also document tarot deck interviews in here, but I also do my new moon and full moon pulls in here, and just all sorts of fun pulls. So I really like this journal a lot. And then my morning pages journal that I talked a little bit about is my Hello Spring. This journal got me back into journaling. I was so excited when Heather told me that she was coming out with it, and this is a comp book. Comp book-ish size. Again, it's a little bit smaller than a normal composition book, but it's really close. And it's white paper, and she gives you 300 pages, and it's a journal for spring. Am I getting that on? Yeah, there we go. A journal for spring. And I do believe that she is coming out with one for every season, and as well as one that isn't seasonal based. So if you just want to have a good journal, to do your morning pages in, or any type of journaling, then you can. I also like to do collages in here as well. I love collages, can't you tell? I did set this book up over on my Patreon as well, so if you're interested, I'll leave a link to my Patreon down below for you to check out as well. But there is my morning journal. Okay, now we're moving on to the decks. So I'm just going to begin with the ones I have sitting on my table here. So one of the decks that I loved using this month is the Urban Crow Oracle by MJ Cullinan. Please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her last name wrong. Of course, I love this deck. Crow's my spirit animal, and I'm working closely with the Morrigan, like I said, and I love the energy of this deck. This deck's pretty well-rounded to me. So, I mean, you have like happier messages that can come through, but you also have ones to think about. You have the tougher ones, like here's Wrath. So curiosity. So it just has, I love the keywords. You just have a lot to work with this deck, and it's so beautiful. I love, of course, seeing all the crows. I hear crows and see crows all the time. So I really connect with this one. It's really great. And along with that, I of course pair it with, let me get all the, there we go. I of course pair it with the Crow Tarot, also by the same creator. And I actually did my Patreon in the fledglings tier. They get a weekly tarot reading on Sundays, and you know, for the week ahead. And I actually used both of these just for that first reading because my Patreon is crow based, and I absolutely love them. I love crows. And this deck, it's beautiful. Traditional Rider-Waite-Smith system, but I really love the artwork. I love the style. It's like collage-y, like a collage themed. It's digital, like digital collage. I think so she made it. But it's stunning nonetheless. I love it. So I definitely used both of those this month. All right, and taking a sip of coffee. Okay, and then kind of following along with that theme, I have the Call of the Morrigan Oracle, excuse me, words today. Whew. Okay, this deck is also super stunning. I love the energy and vibe, of course, it has, and I love working with it while I work with the Morrigan. She has really shown up for me this year, and because this year, like I said, is a shadow work year for me, but it's the year of transformation. She's also known to come forward if you are new to your witchcraft practice and just need guidance and protection, and there's so much to her. She's also considered a triple goddess because there are 3 aspects of her. Sorry if I'm not going to pronounce it right, but Babbed? I think the last B side, I don't know. I have to get back into the guidebook, guys. I'm still learning. But I love her story, and with having Celtic lineage as well, you know, she's an Irish goddess, and so it just gives me that lineage tie right there too, and so I've been really connecting with her, and it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, also not to mention, another connection is, I mean, I've always been connected to the number 3, but also it just reminded me because of the death card here. In tarot, she is associated with the death card because she is the goddess of war, death, and fate, and of so many other things as well. But my rising sign or ascendant sign in astrology is Scorpio, which is also linked to the death card. So I just have like a lot of connections there with her, and so it's been really fun to study and learn. So that's the Call of the Morrigan Oracle. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go to the Gamify Life decks. So the Ritual Tarot is part of my Gamify Life. This is my work deck. I chose this deck for my work deck because this deck is smart. And there's some times when like, I don't know, this deck, it's just really profound. There's a lot you can get in this deck because of the collage style. You have a lot going on. Excuse me, there is nudity, forgot to mention that. But you have a lot going on in the imagery. And every time you pull a card from this deck, if you pull the same card over and over, you might see something else in it every single time. I typically do, because because whatever emotion you bring to these cards, you're gonna see something different. And like, yes, you have the traditional tarot meanings associated with them, of course, the Rider-Waite-Smith system. You can definitely tell here what they are. And so you have that to go off of, but also just these little hidden things in here. Like, I love collage style decks, period. I do. And this one, again, it's just beautiful. It's stunning. Sometimes I feel like there's so much going on though or it's just me, it's a me thing. But like, sometimes I don't feel connected with this one. So I'm like, okay, how are we supposed to work together? It's kind of like I need to do like a deck interview refresh sometimes with this one. So I'm like, oh, why am I struggling so much? But I think the thing is that I'm overthinking my pulls sometimes with this deck because there is so much going on. And so I need to just like this is a deck I need to slow down with and just maybe pull one card and just sit with that one image and, you know, what does this deck have to tell me just by that one image? I'll end on that one because that's a representation of Isis, and I also love the goddess Isis. But yeah, I just need to slow down with this one. But anyways, for Gamify Life, this is also, again, my work deck because it is a workhorse deck. This deck can work with me a lot of different ways. It can be for deity work, it can be for regular pulls, but like I said, I need to just pull one card and slow down with it a little bit more. Take my time with it. It can be used for my Gamify life, for my work life, and seeing where I need to like focus. It's great for like advice and stuff like that. So this deck is just it's an all around great deck. So there's the Ritual Tarot. The next deck that I use is another Crow deck. It's the Murder of Crows Tarot by Corrado Roy. Yes, by Corrado Roy. And if I did not mention, of course, Ritual Tarot is by Tiara May. This deck it's also stunning. I love working with this one as well. I love the black and white imagery of it, and I love the art style. This one is my wisdom deck because the crows, it's so fitting because crows, again, are my spirit animal, and so it's fitting because of that. But then also crows are known for their intelligence. They are very intelligent birds, and they are also are viewed as messengers between the spiritual and the physical realms. So this deck is it's really cool for that wisdom aspect, or the wisdom part of my Gamify Life game. So again, it's really beautiful. I really love this one as well. Okay, my other deck here for my Gamify Life is the Darkwood Tarot. Here's the backs. This one is by Abigail Larson and Sasha Graham as well. And I also, this deck was like, this is my main deck for this year. And I'm working with it a lot more this year, and that's why I chose it for the Game of Life as well, because my main phrase for the year is enter the Darkwood. And so it makes sense to use this deck, right? Because it is the Darkwood, and it's also a shadow deck, a shadow work deck. That's like its main, look at that crow. That's like the main theme of this deck, is to be used for shadow work, even though I feel like you can use this for, I mean, it's a really good Rider-Waite-Smith deck, so you can use it for any type of reading. But I do love the shadow work aspect of it as well. I like that it's these darker tones, and it's the story in the guidebook is so awesome because Sasha Graham wrote it to where you are the witch and you are walking, you have to walk through the dark woods and battle these creatures that you come across in the woods and come out a better version of yourself. And so it was totally fitting. So this is my Vitality deck, which represented my health and wellness. So for me, it's my mental health, my physical health, everything, my emotional health and well-being. It's everything. And so this deck is my main deck for this year. And I have to say, I'm loving it. I love the energy and vibe of this deck. I love the witchy vibes. I love the colors of this like, I love it. Some people use it for like fall. I've heard of people just using it in the fall time, but I love it all year. I love it all year. So there's the Darkwood. Okay, another Gamify Life deck is the Haunted House Tarot. This is also by Sasha Graham and Mirko. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, you guys. Federci? Sorry. I probably shouldn't have even tried. Anyways, Haunted House Tarot. This is also a great deck. I love this deck too. It's so beautiful. Mirko's artwork is stunning, and it's such an easy reader. Such an easy reader. Because again, it's that true Rider-Waite-Smith system, but I love, oops, there it goes. I love how these scenes are just so like vivid. I love it. Love this. Plus, I have a personal connection with this one too, with this card, this imagery, because it reminds me of my favorite book series, the House of Night series. There's a character that has like these black raven wings, and I just, yeah, love it. Don't really care for her though. This is one card that I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Still like, I still love this deck though, regardless. Love this card. But anyway, this deck is just so beautiful. I love the theme of it. I love that she's in this house and there's like spirits and demons and angels and vampires, and there's just all sorts of things going on, but it feels like a movie. Like when you lay these cards out, like if you do 3 cards, it's like it's like you're watching a movie play out. Like if you just lay it out, it's not like, it's just, I'm like, let me scooch these up a little bit. It's just really, really cool. I actually played the, there's a game that you can play from the Tarot Playbook, which I have. What's it called? Or I guess it's, I can't remember the technical name of it, but it's like a whodunit game. And so like you use a tarot deck and you separate out all the suits and you try to figure out like who committed the crime. And I played that with this deck, and that was really, really fun. And that was also inspired by, I need to mention, Leanne Aligned here on YouTube did a video where she played that game using this deck, and I was like, I need to try that. And it was so fun. So anyways, there's the Haunted House Tarot. Okay, moving along, I'm gonna set these other decks up here that I'll get to next. Okay, my last Gamify deck. Oh, did I mention what the, oh, I didn't even mention that. The Haunted House deck is my charisma in the Gamify life. So that one represents my relationships. And then this one here is my insight. So this one, it's upside down. This is the horror tarot that is, oh, I can't even remember who, is it Minerva? Hold on just a second, guys. I have the guidebook here. I know, yes, Minerva Siegel, Aria Gmitter, and Abigail Larson, of course, did the artwork. Again, I love Abigail's artwork. I did edge mine in red as well. This, another Rider-Waite deck, and absolutely gorgeous artwork. Again, this is my insight. So it's my, like my studies, my spirituality, and all that goodness. And This deck is also my Phantasma deck. I did a video a while ago that talked about my like tarot decks that I associate with books or book series. And this one, if you've ever read Phantasma by, oh no, I don't remember her name. Is it Carrie Smith? I believe it's Carrie Smith. The vibe and it just, this deck, as soon as I unboxed or opened this deck up and started flipping through it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is Phantasma. Like, it has all the creepy vibes. It has like the dinner table with like all the candles and all the things, and you have all the demons and like all sorts of things going on. It just totally captures that vibe. So anyways, if you've read that book, but another crow or raven, whichever one, but it's beautiful. This is another favorite of mine, and it's, you know, horror themed. So I know, again, a lot of people might use this just in like the fall time, like the Halloween, you know, around the Halloween season. This is just my jam, so I will use it all year long. I love the Headless Horseman. I'll just leave it on that one. That one's awesome. Okay, so that's all my Gamify decks, Gamify life decks. Let's see. Okay, next up, I just recently pulled these two back out. I am on a kick of re-interviewing some tarot decks, especially ones I haven't used in a while or may not feel like I've connected to in quite some time. So in my collection, I've been going through and just kind of like re-interviewing decks, and this one popped into my head randomly yesterday. And so I was like, I'm pulling you out. So this was just yesterday that I pulled both of these out actually, but yeah, we're definitely gonna be talking about this one here in a minute. This one is, I mean, of course it's a fandom deck, and I absolutely love Buffy. I've watched that show like 2 or 3 times now, and I always love it. It's a comfort show for me. I love the Scooby Gang. They're just awesome. Here's the lovely guidebook. The packaging for these decks I actually like. I like when decks come in a box that's like pretty small-ish, and the guidebook and everything fits in. I love that. I did edge mine. I like took different Sharpies, and like each suit I did a different color to match the colors that are like all in this deck. This deck, I really love this deck, and it's interesting. Insight editions, like all their cardstock's kind of different. This one feels very flexible to me, and it shuffles beautifully. For some reason, my Supernatural deck, sorry, I wanted to get another shuffle in there. My Supernatural deck, which is also Insight Editions, it is very like, it's a lot thicker, I feel like, or it is thicker, and I don't riffle it ever, because it just, I don't know, I feel like it's just gonna bend really. You know what, here's an example too. The Horror Tarot is also Insight Editions, and it still feels a little more stiff than this one. That's weird. Have any of you guys ever noticed that they have different? Yeah, this one's definitely more stiff than this one. This one's so, I really like this cardstock though. I can sit and shuffle this for a long time. That's actually kind of what I did last night. I got this deck out and I was just shuffling and shuffling and shuffling because the cardstock is nice. It's matte, and it's so flexible. But anywho, I did an interview on this one last night, and I love it. I got like collaboration from it, which, you know, like this one, like, let's work together. There's things we can work on. The lesson you can teach me is to let go of regrets and grudges or anything like that, and just move on and just be happy and celebrate life. I did receive this card as well, and it was like, you know, the Knight of Chalices is the romantic, and so it wasn't necessarily a romance as far as like romantic with your partner or anything like that. To me, it was talking about like, you need to love yourself more and be more kind to yourself and have more fun. That's what I got when I did my reading with this deck, and I was like, whoa, okay. So I'm gonna leave this deck out for a while, because again, I just pulled it out yesterday, so I'm probably going to work with this one a bit next month in April, because it also does kind of have like the springtime vibes. Like the color in this deck is all these pinks and purples, and oh, I'll leave it on the Magician. I also got the Magician for like my question for how can we collaborate together. I got the Magician and I was like, how freaking perfect is that? So we're going to collaborate together and we're going to see what happens. So you guys may see this deck in April's favorite video. We'll see, but so far, yeah, I want to do some more work with this one. Pretty interesting. Okay, this deck, Tarot of the Abyss by Anna Torian. I've had this deck for a little while now. Let me see. I actually usually write it down. April 30th. Look at that. April 30th of last year, I got it. So I've almost had this one for a year. And I have worked with it here and there. But I really wanted to do another interview spread with it again to see, here's the lovely backs, to see how we can collaborate again. Like, you know, I really love that collaboration question. I usually always ask like what its strengths are. There's, you know, a question about its limits, which I don't really like that question as much because it's kind of like, but like some decks I get though are kind of like, we don't have limits. Like, what are you talking about? So it's kind of funny. But for this one, you know what, I wonder if I can find it. The reading for this one was so good. And especially because I mean, I love the artwork for one, black and white with this like sketched look. But Anna's interpretations in her guidebook are amazing. I'm trying to find a certain card, guys. Okay, bear with me. I wonder if it's back here. It might be back here somewhere. I hadn't shuffled. No, of course not. You know what? We might get to it. If we get to it, I will show it. Anyway, I was trying to find the Hierophant card in here because it's called the Wise One, I believe. And it's absolutely stunning. And that was the first card that came out that when I asked, tell me about yourself, that one came out. And one of my cards in the tarot is the Hierophant. So I have a special connection to that card. But then just seeing, I need to find it. I need to find it for you guys. So I'll just keep talking while I try to find it. But it mentions, excuse me guys, she mentions shaman in her interpretation in the guidebook as well. And that is what I'm also studying. Is I have a few books now that I'm going through about shamanism, and I love that. Look at that. How cool is that? I love this. She has a cool way of making you see different perspectives, which is also one of the messages that I got with this deck, with how it wants to collaborate with me. It wants to show me different perspectives, and I just think that's so cool. But anyways, I'm studying shamanism, and so I really connect with the Hierophant in this deck. Basically what I'm trying to say there. This was the card that I pulled for how we can collaborate. And typically when I see Three of Swords, you know, it's that grief, that heartache kind of place, even though the swords are about the mind, so basically it's not necessarily the emotional heartbreak or grief or loss that you're going through. It's the thought process behind it all. So, you know, you're grieving, but and you're mentally stuck in that place. But this had a different take on it. This one was all about, let me show you a different perspective. It's like all this knowledge is flying out of the book and into his brain. And it's like, we can go different places together. Let's look at things a little bit differently. And so that was really, there it is. So that was really an awesome message from this. So this deck is also staying out. I want to work with it more. I think it definitely has some different insights in it and a different way for me to look at things. Because, you know, when you have so many different Rider-Waite-Smith decks that are kind of all the same, they just have different characters or different art styles, you can kind of get stuck in a rut sometimes because you feel like you're kind of repeating yourself or seeing the same messages over and over and over. But this one is so different and unique. And yes, it's still like a Rider-Waite-Smith system, you know, but it still has the artwork and interpretation still give you a different way in, a different viewpoint. So I just love that. That's so interesting. Here's the Wise One I was talking about. See how it's very shamanic in its feel in general and anyway, but then again, she mentions that in the guidebook as well. talking about the shaman and the studying and learning. Like, these two are learning from him. They're sitting by this fire, and his goal and mission is to share his wisdom, so that way they can carry on his wisdom, the traditions that he's learned. And so I love that, and I connect very strongly with that. Oh, there's the Lovers card. I'll end on that one. And again, it's just a beautiful deck, like this Lovers card. It's different. It's not two people. It's the trees and their roots intertwined. That's beautiful. Okay, Tarot of the Abyss. This video is going to be like extremely long, you guys. I just have so much to say about all these decks. Last few though. I also pulled this one out this month, the Horror Tarot by Todd Alcott. His decks are amazing. And I say decks because, well, I have a video coming to Patreon, so that will be happening, where I talk a little bit more about his other ones. But I got this one first. I ordered this one off Amazon. I already edged it in black. And these decks are just so fun. And speaking of a different way in, these decks totally give me that different perspective too. Just because they're so fun, so different, so like wacky, and like just so cool. I love, look, like there's like this little signature up here in the corner here. Like, it's just, I love these, like the vintagey old style magazine covers and movie posters and book covers. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. But I also love how he's added little hints to what the cards are, or what their meaning is. So it's so fun. And being a horror movie person, and I love horror books, I love horror movies, and I love that. It's so fun to use. I love it. And I will use it all year round. So yeah, this is the lovely, the Hierophant. There's the Hierophant there too. So that is the Horror Tarot by Todd Alcott. I really like using this one anytime I feel like pulling that one out. It's such an easy, his decks are such an easy readers too. They're easy to just pull out and go with it. Okay, last few decks, you guys. I will actually mention, so I kind of went down a rabbit hole with Patrick Valenza decks. So I mentioned, and I have a video here about the Deviant Moon Tarot. This one has quickly become a favorite. There's so much depth to these cards. Again, also an easy reader if you are familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith system. But at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, and then when I got it and saw how vivid it was in person, the colors, and just how, like, I don't know, it's surreal, because it's like a dream world that you can kind of like enter into, but it's also like, I don't even have words. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just really, really cool. And, with having this, I saw that he also, of course, had the big coffee table guidebook, and this thing is also amazing. His messages in here, his interpretations of the cards really speak to me, as well as he gives you more information on the cards as well. There's just, this book is so massive. I don't know if I can even get it all in here, but you get the full card reproduction, and then you get a good chunk about the card, again, like how he made it and everything, and then you get the meanings, as well as the reversed meanings. And again, it speaks to me. I really connect with it a lot. And I also love that he used like photos of gravestones and of cemeteries and of abandoned buildings. Like, he used an abandoned asylum as like the background photos, and he, you know, put it all on his computer, and he digitally made all this, and it's just beautiful, and one of my favorites. So since I had that one and loved it so much, I knew he had other decks in his Etsy shop, so I did get the Mildred Payne Pocket Oracle. And it's in the Bloody Hell edition. So it's this red and black. Of course, I had to do red and black. I already love this deck too. It's so cool. I love how tiny it is. I love how it's just straight up the symbol, and it's very intuitive. But he also did send a little guidebook of like, it's like a little fold out page, and it has the cards on here, and then his, like, you know, a few words that he associated with each image. So that's cool too. But like, I just love the intuitive aspect of this as well. So I've already really been loving using this one, and I want to edge it. I haven't edged it yet, but I'm thinking, I did my Deviant Moon in red and black. I don't know if I'll do red and black too on this one, or if I'll just do red or black. I'm not sure, but it'll be something like that. All right, last deck I want to show you guys, which is, I did get the Triumphi de la Luna Paradoxical Edition. This is his Marseille deck, which is the Deviant Moon cousin. And speaking of the number 3 being my number, and then when I got the box and saw it on there too, I was like, oh yes. Yes, please. I love the backs. Here's the backing. I am new to the Marseille system. I do know, of course, that they are pip decks, so you do not have illustration, like a scene for the minor arcana cards. I mean, of course, you have your regular court cards, but you don't have a scene for the ace through 10. They're just pips. So you have like the 1 sword, you have the 4 wands, but I still feel like there's a lot to get with this deck. Like, I mean, I want to study and learn the Marseille system, but with his style, I don't know, I was drawn to this one. I was drawn to it, and I'm excited to work with it. Again, I love his art style. I love just about anything he creates, to be honest. So yeah, I'm excited to keep working with this one. This one is new. So I will have to give you guys an update on it, but yeah, there is my favorites for the month of March. That was a lot. If you guys made it to the end here, you guys are awesome. And if you did, leave a little heart. Leave a red heart down at the bottom if you guys made it to the end. I'm just curious. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I will get that in the box later. Thank you guys so much for watching my video here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys all in the next video. Bye.